Why is it that we don't talk about the bed wenches being Black men? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is G here. Let's get right into this topic of Shannon Sharpe and the sexual assault allegations against him. I am not about to debate whether or not it's consensual, but when are we going to start holding men accountable, grown men accountable for having relationships with children? Guys, subscribe to my channel and let's have a little chat. Not going to debate whether or not this relationship was consensual, whether she agreed to open her legs to Shannon Sharpe or not. When they started this relationship, she was about 17 years old. She's 19, 20, whatever. This man saying that he is being shook down by this child, this girl, is, well, it's his own doing. And I hope that he has to pay, because I really think that more men need to be held accountable for manipulating relationships with children. A girl, if you still have teen in your age, I don't care if 18 makes you legal and an adult. If you still have teen in your age, you are a teenager. And a 50 some odd year old man, someone with at least a 30-year age gap on you, starting a sexual BDSM type of relationship. What can you even say to defend that? How can a grown man, as grown at his big age as Shannon Sharpe, think that it was okay for him to start having a sexual relationship, a sexually aggressive, physically dominating sexual relationship with a teenager? How can he defend that? How can society even give him a platform for defending his behavior? I really don't see this as a shakedown, because what else did you think was going to happen? What does a 50 some odd year man, multi-millionaire, whatever, think that an 18, 17-year-old girl is doing with him? What is he doing with her? There are plenty of grown women that he could participate in this type of relationship with, that could have also been consensual, could have also been having all of the dirty talk. But there is some special sort of deviance about a grown man who seeks out teenage girls to have any type of relationship with, let alone one that involves physical, emotional, and mental manipulation and dominance. This is what these relationships are always about. He wanted to be dominant, and not just dominant, but also mentally and emotionally dominate this girl. And she deserves all the coins. It was obviously a relationship where he was giving her money. The text messages prove that much, whether it was consensual or not. And I don't know any woman who doesn't look back at relationships, especially if you meet somebody who is of a certain age, a certain stature. You are already in a lopsided situation of power. Most of us women who were once teenage girls have been pursued by older men. We may have even had relationships with older men. And when you look back on those relationships, they were always you being manipulated in some way towards his goals. Most of us women have experienced that. So, looking at this situation with Shannon Sharpe, he knew what he was doing and he knew why he was doing it. Every man who decides to pursue a relationship with a teenage girl knows that he is doing it to dominate her. And the fact that he was dominating her, not just in respects to power, the lopsided power dynamic between the two of them, he was actually engaging in a type of relationship with this girl where a lot of adults would be uncomfortable with. So the fact that she was participating doesn't necessarily mean consent. It could mean manipulation. Her whole frontal lobe isn't even developed yet and still we are saying that she is the one who is shaking down him. He put himself in a position to pretend that he's a victim. He put himself in a position where, at his big age, thought that he was just going to play with these little girls. They move differently. Um, a lot of us probably should have got paid way long ago. A lot of women look back on their childhood, their girlhood, their teenagehood, and most of the men that you have met probably should be in jail. Most of them had manipulated and abused girls and teenagers in some way because you just didn't know any better. And the things you pretend to be to fit into society's like expectations of what girls are supposed to do, especially when you meet someone who's powerful and older and you're impressed by, you end up playing a part and you haven't even developed who you are. So yeah, you're just playing a part. And this man took full advantage of this girl. I don't understand how he thinks he's a victim here. I don't understand why he can look at the situation and say, yeah, I was messing around with this little girl and now she expects to get paid. How do we know what was consensual and what was not? Because she's a girl. She is a teenager who has not developed her whole sense of being, let alone her like, sexual self. And he took advantage to try and guide that. And that's what men do when they seek out these young girls in the sexual path and direction in which they want from that person. Now, Shannon Sharpe was also recently caught on tape having, sex with someone else, apparently. And the text messages between them show that she felt like some sort of way. She's a teenager. Of course she felt some sort of way. And his responses were like, oh, don't play games. He's the only one that was playing games. He dropped this girl's name, and you're not supposed to necessarily drop the names of assault victims because he is trying to paint himself as the one who is victim. He's 56 years old. He has every control over his body to be out here manipulating children and young girls. I do not care if she was able to consent by age. If you are 30 some odd years older than a 19-year-old and you started a relationship with them 2 years prior when she was 17 or close to 17, maybe just barely 18 years old. Like, what are you doing? What is wrong with you? I think that we need to start asking different questions. Stop questioning the girls. Start asking what's wrong with the men. Why are these men so unable to have relationships with women even close to their own age? He didn't have to go to 19. He could have did 30. He could have, that's still 20 some odd years younger than him. He could have found a grown woman to have this type of relationship with. But there is something specific about having it with young girls for these men. And we need to start asking what is wrong with the man, what is wrong with society, that we can even have these questions. Why is it that he doesn't feel ashamed to come out and say that he's been doing this with a little girl? She is 19 years old. Even if she was 21, even if she's 21, we all know that her full frontal lobe has not even come together to be able to make certain rational decisions. And this is why men like to get in there before these girls can make rational decisions. And that's why they don't like for older women to talk to girls and let them know why and what not to do, not to let these men manipulate them, not to let these old men mess with their bodies, not to let these old men do anything to them. She wanted a baby with him because that is another way of security for her. The race play. Can we just talk about how so many Black men in these relationships, why is it that we don't talk about the bed wenches being Black men? Because there are not, I have not seen, maybe it exists, but I have not seen a lot of, or really any, I take that back. I only saw one Black woman who, and her partner was not in these videos, but there was one Black woman who was making videos about picking cotton and doing weird stuff. Now, I saw one video, and mind you, she was doing that all by herself. I didn't see her partner actually being the one. He wasn't standing over her like a slave master. That's what you see Black men doing. The white woman standing over the Black man, with these weird period type of dynamics. But I have not seen any other dynamic where you would see a white person showing their whiteness as dominance over a black person in these relationships that are supposed to be romantic and loving, um, except for with black men. I've not seen black women doing that in interracial relationships. So the fact that he's participating in all of this is a problem. And the fact that he cannot see the problems that he has presented himself for himself is also a problem. I hope that black men hold him accountable. I hope that society holds him accountable. And I think he should have to pay this girl. That's what she was in it for. And that's what he apparently was in it for, because why didn't he choose better? Why don't these men who keep putting themselves in situations like this do better? Why don't they choose women that they can have actual mutual relationships with, who are consenting adults, right? Who no longer need to have the security of another adult in order to live. Because when you are a teenager, you are still looking for some type of parenting adult security to guide you, and that might be in the form of finances. And I hope that he has to pay her, and I hope that she gets what she needs to live a healthy life that an adult supported her through. That is the role he signed up for when he decided to participate in a relationship with a child. If you're an adult participating in a relationship with a child 30 years your junior, that is why you're there. She didn't want anything else other than an adult figure to give her some sort of guidance. And that's what men know. He knows that. These men play dumb, but they know exactly why they're talking to these young girls. They know exactly why. They want to guide them towards something. They don't necessarily want to keep them forever, but they want to guide them towards something. And so she needs guidance and financial security, and she should get it. Obviously, it was something that she couldn't get from her parents, and she sought out another adult to do so. And he stepped up. So why not go ahead and give her what she needs to live a happy life in the world in which we've created? Because if we let these men continue to get away with this, they will continue to do it. And so I think all of them should pay. And maybe they will start to learn. I think that the more men have to pay, the more men will learn that maybe at least find an adult, because at this point the situation in my opinion does not look good for Shannon Sharpe, and I think that he should be held fully accountable, and the only questions that we should ask is, why didn't he choose better? Guys, subscribe to my channel, and I look forward to talking to you guys in the comments. So ciao ciao for now.